to finish the story. Shut up, bitch.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HHW Show podcast. I'm with OVE, Hector, and Frank. Yes, our website is hhwshow.com, and we are set for the road to WrestleMania. And I tell you guys, man, there's the one thing I'm going to agree is Friday Night Smackdown when The Rock says that wrestling is awesome, wrestling is good. Wrestling is like by far like out there. And the reason why is that these storylines and these actions that these superstars are doing is leaving you to think what are the possibilities for what's going to happen the following week, what's going to happen in the next premium event. And it seems like when we think we got it figured out, it just seems like something else happens, and then you have to second guess yourself. Well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's this way. Maybe it's that way. And if you're still talking about it, trying to figure it out, then wrestling is goddamn good.
Oh yeah, it to me it seems as if what used to be predictable all of a sudden isn't, and it's leaving us guessing and trying to come up with a million scenarios.
You're right.
That's why we're here, because
Yeah.
we discuss every single scenario we're going to try to find, and then we don't.
And then when we do discuss it, we think we got it all covered. Then something else happens, and then we got to go back to our notes and be like, all right, scratch that. Let's do this. Let's do that. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, like really, that's gonna happen. But before we get to there, let's talk about real stuff right here. You ready? And we got to say congratulations to Paul Heyman, who is the first one voted in the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame inductee. And I got to say, like, this is well deserving. This is something that we don't have to wait till later. I mean, I think he's a Hall of Famer regardless what year you put him in. But Paul Heyman is the guy, okay? Paul Heyman is probably, and I wish Bobby Heenan was alive today and at his prime. I would love to see Paul Heyman versus Bobby Heenan go heated battle to see. And I still think that out of all the managers in WWE history, Paul Heyman is the number one guy.
Oh. I agree with you. Now, I think we should have a fantasy tournament on managers too, but that's for another topic later on.
You know what? We got WrestleMania Backlash, and we'll talk about managers. How about that?
That's perfect. But I'm going to tell you what, and not to take nothing from Paul Heyman, because I think what he's done and what he does is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a problem that they're inducting guys or individuals that are still active. For me, a Hall of Fame, and again, this is just my opinion though, right? It's a Hall of Fame is more of, hey, you know what? This is the legacy that you left, not the legacy that you're still going on.
But who knows what the real story is in the background? Is there something that maybe this is probably the last of Paul Heyman? Are we seeing the last, like once the bloodline is over, that Paul Heyman is stepping aside? I mean, look, I understand last year we had Rey Mysterio who got inducted, and yeah, he's still active. That I can understand. But like, we got like basketball coaches inducted to the Hall of Fame, and they're still coaching. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the manager perspective, I don't mind that. But then, like, how long was ECW? That was a long time ago, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was the bread and butter of all this. So I like it. And he come back from WWE. He was Brock Lesnar's manager. But there's just things that Paul Heyman has done that it goes way beyond anything else. What's on the screen, off the screen. Who is really Paul Heyman? And I can't wait to that day so we get to know exactly what the truth is of who is Paul Heyman. I like it. But he's there. I'm very spectacle to see if anyone else rumors and a lot of people from social media are voting that Bray Wyatt gets into the Hall of Fame this year. Now we don't have to wait years later, and I agree. That part I do. Um, Another person that I would love to see get inducted is The Rock himself. Like he's done so much. I know he's come in and out part time, whatever it is, but give people their dues because The Rock, John Cena, like these guys, like they deserve it. If you're gonna give it to Rey Mysterio, it's time. Triple H is another one. Get into the Hall of Fame, okay? And it's okay. And I know they always want like the main event. I feel like they need the main event of each Hall of Fame, okay? But it's okay to have a good class, such as watch this. Imagine having, and I wish this could happen, Brock Lesnar, um, what's his name? Randy Orton, John Cena, and Bautista, right? Even though Bautista's already inducted, but to have those four in the same class as Hall of Famers, the same way they came in through OVM, they were the future of the WWE, and they did an outstanding job. I would love something like that.
I see what you're saying. It would make sense, but you're talking about in their eyes. I feel like four superstars like that, you're not gonna have three of them take a back seat to one of them as the head, the main attraction, the headliner for that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, why not? Because if
Well,
we're gonna
then,
continue doing that, if we're gonna continue doing this the way they're doing it, it's gonna take forever for somebody like The Rock to get in, which he should have been in a long time ago.
That well, you're gonna have to give him 2 hours of his own because he likes to take too much time on SmackDown, 25 minutes just to address of why Phoenix City was the number one of meth and cocaine, and then go on it with his ultimatum with Seth Rollins. But let's talk about The Rock real quick because he started with, "Are you sure you want to boo The Rock?" Now, every time he comes on, people boo him. He always asks that question. And that question always has me thinking as, is there something else that's going to happen? So we start cheering for The Rock, right? And I'm still going to stick with my theory that The Rock is going to turn his back on Roman Reigns, okay? But it seems like every week it feels different. Like I feel like changing my prediction. Then I said, no, stick with your guns, stick with your guns. But that's for later. Um, he did mention that Phoenix City or Phoenix, Arizona is the number one city for meth and cocaine, not math. I spelled it different here. So by all means, it's METH, not MATH. All right.
hey, dude, listen, it's
that's
okay.
that's terrible, man. That's
You
terrible.
look like I do. Okay, that's. I mean, that's something I would do. Come on, man.
But the ultimatum, it was given to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins that if they battle as a tag team, which we'll find out the answer on SmackDown, 2-on-2, if Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins win, then there is no bloodline for day 2 for the main event of Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. However, should Roman Reigns and The Rock win, then the bloodline rules. How do you feel about this ultimatum?
Dude, you could take this each and every single way possible. Because I thought about it the other day when I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. He could either The Rock, if we go with your theory, right, where The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and I see it that he might. Is you know what? He's just going to go ahead and get pinned on that tag team match. But then again, if they also win, he could still turn on the Bloodline during the main event. So there's plenty of ways to go ahead and look at this as to where the Rock is gonna turn on Roman Reigns.
Mm.
I I see something a little different. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Frank. I'm not going to argue that. I agree. But I'm seeing this from a different angle, and I'm seeing it from the perspective of Seth Rollins. Why would he want, or why would they want to book him in a tag team match on day one, knowing that he still has to defend his title probably on day one? Because if you put him on day two, then you're diminishing the championship title that he holds by putting him on day two against Seth Rollins. I mean, against Drew McIntyre. Sorry, but if you leave him on day one, now you double booking him on that same day. I don't think that's right. Not for Seth Rollins. So I don't agree with the tag team match. But The Rock almost made me a believer that he's going to turn on Roman by making the stipulation of a tag team match and what is entailed with each side winning. So, but I'm not convinced just yet.
You're not convinced. But
Not just yet.
what if the scenario is that Roman Reigns turns his back on The Rock?
The only way I see Roman Reigns turning his back on The Rock is if there's another new member that's going to join the Bloodline at WrestleMania that we haven't seen yet. Because I do believe WWE did sign someone. It could be to a NXT contract or whatever. But it is, I think, a Samoan family member.
Yeah, there's a lot of Samoan families out there in the independent world wrestling. And then sometimes when people speculate that they sign someone, I'm like, I'll just wait and see when they come on TV, because sometimes they say something and it's not true. So I'm very careful, and especially I'm very careful with everyone trying to predict. Oh, like for example, Matt Riddle's supposed to come back and turn and be heel with Randy Orton. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how could that be if Riddle's already signed in independent wrestling and has a scheduled matches coming up, right? We'll get to that later. But anyways, you're right. And here's the deal: is like anything can happen. The way he's putting his finger up in the air, you see how he's almost like an L shape. People already talking about it. Like, but there's one thing that Hector you were talking about is The Rock's attitude, his demeanor. When Roman Reigns said to Rock, "Acknowledge me," what was your intake on all this? Like, what was your
Yeah.
point of view on all this?
That right there sparked a question that came to my head, and I wanted to ask you guys. I want your opinion, to answer this question for me. When he did that to The Rock, I thought of this question: would you do anything for your family, even if it means you don't really agree with it? And the reason I came up with that question is because before this happened, The Rock teased us all with, should I eat at the head of the table, to insinuate that he wants to take on Roman Reigns for that position. But now we just seen this past week that he acknowledged Roman Reigns, but not before he paused, not before he took off his sunglasses and stared him in his eyes to almost see as if, I don't want to do this. But I will sound like a hypocrite because I told the fans that you do anything for family. So he went ahead and probably swallowed his pride at that moment and just did it. But does he really mean it though? So I'm asking you this question: would you do anything for your family, even if that means you don't agree with what is going on there with a situation?
That's a
I
great
think
question.
it really depends on what we are agreeing to and what motives there is behind that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that at the end we will probably all do whatever we can for family, but I think that if it's something that goes against, let's say, my beliefs, right? I don't think I would, regardless of who the person is that I'm gonna do it against. If I know that it's gonna hurt me, then I probably won't. If it's something for my kids, it could be different. I might, but I know ultimately if it's only words, possibly, but going about and just being involved in something that I don't believe in, no. Not sure if it
Mm.
makes sense.
Well, let's put it this way, because we saw that already. We saw Jay Uso separate himself with the family and went to another brand to start something new, to start something fresh. How many times that you see someone, or did you've been through that experience, that there's a lot of trouble and you say, you know what, the hell with this, I'm gonna pack up my stuff, I'm moving out here, I need to get away. All right, how many of you ever felt that way before? You got to get away, get your mind fresh. I need a break. You know what I mean? And when you say that and you ask that question, would you do anything for family? Sometimes you have to pause and think, well, what are the risks that if I stay with the family and do it? And what will happen if I don't? Okay. For Jay Uso, he left, and man, he's gotten so close to accomplish something by himself, but there's his brother blocking that path. Okay. So you walked away, but you're still in that vicinity. You know what I mean? So wherever he goes, his brother's following him and interrupting his success. Right. And so by looking at that example, I say that sometimes you do got to swallow your pride to get a little closer to see what's exactly what's going on. And then you hit them where it hurts. And that's, I think, where The Rock is. And it go back to the very beginning, like you reminded me, was The Rock came at day one and said he wants a seat at the table. And I was convinced it was talking about TKO group and stuff like that. No, no, no. Like he will say, no, no, no. Right. Um, but yeah, he wanted to battle Roman Reigns so that way he could say he is the head of the table. He did lay that platform for everybody else. Let's be honest. It wasn't Roman Reigns' family from back then. It wasn't the Usos from back then, even though they got, their father's Rikishi. It was really The Rock that made that family stand out even better. It was The Rock. The Rock is the head of the table. Regardless, if it wasn't for The Rock, there wouldn't be any Roman Reigns. So I can see it that way. I can see also the jealousy within the family. Just like Jimmy's jealous of Jay. It goes back and forth. And jealousy really destroys family. And that is the kryptonite for the bloodline, is when jealousy hits, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. And, going back real quick to what you said about Jimmy and Jay, Jay had to do something. He had to ultimately make a decision. And that decision it was important to prioritize his own well-being and his own integrity to do what he did, and which was the right thing. Go on a different brand, try to separate yourself, do for yourself, but yet his brother keeps on tagging along and trying to interrupt things. It's just one brother, not both of them.
Right.
It's the big brother. It's the big brother, not the little brother, because Jay's the middle.
You would think that the little brother will always want that attention, but it's the big brother being jealous, and it happens in the family. That's the thing. It does happen in the family. One's jealous of the other. They start arguing, but at a certain point, the father or the parents got to come in and squash all that beef. Someone's got to be the middle person and to bring the family back together. Who is that going to be? That's why I think Rikishi's is gonna be in the picture on that. But there's more to this story, because again, The Rock, Roman Reigns, the ultimatum. We have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins together. Are they gonna be together and make that decision on SmackDown? And then you got this right here, Drew McIntyre. Okay, Seth Rollins is not watching his back carefully. Okay, because he wants to put his hands in the pudding, right? Sound like Bill Cosby and stuff like that, right? And then you got Jay Uso, who did get attacked from behind and everything else from Jimmy, all the distraction. Are we going to see everybody at SmackDown this Friday? Will we see Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and now add Jay Uso into the mix to go over there to SmackDown?
There's a
I
lot of
think you
moving
might.
parts. Yeah.
There's a lot of moving pieces. You're right. And that's what I said from the very beginning of the show is like everything is too unpredictable to know or to figure out what's going to happen next. And so we're
I
left just predicting, and you might be right, or something else is going to develop. Be like, oh my God, here we go again.
I
So
would like to throw an extra piece of the puzzle to all this.
go ahead.
CM Punk. I know he's injured, but why can't he be in the mix as a special guest referee or enforcer for McIntyre and Seth Rollins since he has an issue with both of them? Who
Why
does he
be an
really
enforcer? Why not be the actual referee?
right? So who would he have more issues with between the two?
Well, he doesn't. Here's the thing: is that he's never had an issue with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins always had an issue with CM Punk, but they both could probably say they respect one another because they don't hide from each other, right? Just like Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. But with Drew McIntyre, all he does is run his mouth. And when you meet someone that always like to hear themselves, someone that always have that attention, think they better than everybody, they don't usually turn out to win at the very end.
Are you
So
talking about like Damian Priest?
now that's another Judgment Day's another story. Man,
And
we could
he's
add
another
that
story
to the fire
with that
because
briefcase.
he is the Money in the Bank briefcase winner.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's a lot going on here, but the one person that we don't hear about moving on to our next one is Logan Paul. Logan Paul caused Randy Orton to win the Elimination Chamber for a shot at the world title against Seth Rollins. However, we don't mention him anymore on SmackDown for some reason. And then we got two clowns that want to test Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which is supposed to be a singles match. Kevin Owens came to the rescue on Friday Night SmackDown, and now you got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, which is already scheduled to a possibility a tag team match in the future. Um, the good part about this is that Austin Theory knows how to sell an RKO. I love it. I really do. But could we have a 2-on-2, or could it be a 6-man tag and Logan Paul doesn't defend the United States Championship and ends up with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller?
I see that. I mean, you putting too many titles on the line at WrestleMania, it seems to be an overkill at this point because of what's building on with the Bloodline and what's building on Raw. This title is really irrelevant to even put on the line at WrestleMania. You could make him lose his belt on SmackDown, and it'll be okay. Seriously.
Okay, I like it. I like it. That's funny that you mentioned that, honestly, because the Intercontinental Championship belt was like that, and now all of a sudden, now it's on the premium of live events. However, the United States title was won in the premium event, but hasn't been defended ever since. So, um, that's good. It's good to acknowledge that the United States Championship is not worthy. And could Rey Mysterio get back in that picture again, or Andrade, or somebody, or something has to give for the United States Championship to be like it was when John Cena was the champion. But we're moving on here to the next prediction on the gauntlet match. The winner faces Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40. Frank, I start with you. Who's your winner and why?
Oh, Chad Gable. Just for the simple fact that Gable's been all over Gunther's face, for the past couple weeks, and I think out of all this, he really is going to be the favorite. I mean, when you look at Ricochet, he hasn't been doing much. You know, Bronson Reed has been big for nothing. I think Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura are gonna X themselves out because they've had their
Okay.
issue before, and JD McDonough hasn't done anything.
I want to say it
So,
doesn't done anything, but I think that with him being with the Judgment Day elevates, right? And it's all right to get in someone's face and get that challenge. I like to see that. Hector.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I know I said something off the show and everything, but the way things seems to be developing, I think JD is going to find a way of sneaking in the win.
Oh man. So
Oh
you
my
I
say
really
God.
Chad Gable, you say JD. I'm gonna tell you, and it fits. Don't worry. I understand what you're saying because Judgment Day wants all the gold, and that's to set him up for success, right? But I'm gonna say Sami Zayn is going to win this, and the reason why is that people. I mean, I know he's lost a lot of matches, but he's also done a lot of promo. Everything that camera's always on Sami Zayn more than any of these superstars. And Shinsuke Nakamura seems like a guy that he might be in the finals. And I got a feeling that Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura are going to be the last two standing going after, and the winner will be Sami to go on to WrestleMania and attempt to win that Intercontinental Championship.
I just, it to me, it's a little bit more than picking JD because of because of Judgment Day. It
Mhm.
just seems to me like the crowd is favoring Gunther and Imperium all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah, you seen that
you know,
tag team match?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, I mean, I like the Chad and I like the Sammy thing going, but if the people are gonna push for Gunther, then give them somebody to boo for. And you don't want to boo Sammy, you don't want to boo Chad because they're good storylines.
I'll boo Ricochet.
Oh yeah,
Where that dude come from? All of a sudden he's demanding an Intercontinental Championship. We're like, don't you got to win a match?
yeah,
Yeah,
for real.
I haven't seen him. He could be doing house shows, but I haven't seen him on TV. So another match that we could predict: Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan, Monday Night Raw. The Liv Morgan has a legitimate, right, fight waiting to happen against Becky Lynch because listen, no matter what the outcome will be between Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, Becky Lynch had no reason to interfere in that match. She could have waited till the match was over. Okay. Liv Morgan returned the favor. Now, them two, I say to myself, this match will not finish. Nia Jax is going to go ahead and interrupt the whole show.
It just makes sense.
But what does that leave? I mean, what direction will they go? Because
Triple.
I don't feel like it's fair to have a fatal four-way for the World Women's Championship with Rhea Ripley. Unless we go back to last week, Hector, when you said somehow, some way, Becky Lynch has to get protected and avoid a loss.
Yeah, triple threat match, and Liv takes the pin at WrestleMania. I mean, that's the only way I see that. That's why
Frank,
I'm seeing it now.
I don't know, man.
I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, I don't want to have a fatal four way match. I'd prefer to see Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley hands down, but it's starting to look less and less with Nia Jax just stepping in the middle of everything all the time.
I got a feeling maybe Rhea Ripley will, because she is the woman, she's the head of the women's division, supposedly. Maybe she'll dictate and interfere in a sense outside the ring and prevent anyone just because she just wants that one-on-one with Becky Lynch.
She's not gonna get that one on one with Becky Lynch. I'm sorry. With Liv Morgan in the picture, no, it's not gonna happen. But fatal four way makes no sense.
No, none
Rhea
whatsoever.
Ripley, Rhea Ripley already won a fatal four defending her title. She don't need to do another one. There's no way.
That's absolutely true. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. All right, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship: Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Mm,
I'm going out on a limb on this one. I
No, you're
am.
not. No, you're
I,
not.
I'm gonna go hang on a little tiny limb that's hanging off my tree over here. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I say we're gonna have new tag team champions because of Ding Dong.
Ding dong. You think Bailey's gonna be over there to cost them the match?
I think so.
So by doing that, do you think that she'll create allies with Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark?
You know what? You might as well. You're gonna need something. But I also look at Jade Cargill because she seems to be lurking around.
She's
she
lurking
looked at
around, and she was staring down at EO Sky too.
she was staring it down. You never know. But yeah, I think allies. I mean, you're getting close to WrestleMania. You need to make allies. You don't have to be best of friends.
Yeah,
Just
but Bailey didn't do no justice since her return either. So who would want to be best friends with Bailey?
you scratch my back, I scratch
Jay
your back.
Carhill. Jay Carhill's
She'll
the
make a
only is
drug.
will make the only
She'll
option
make
because
she'll make the deal for like the Miz did with Bobby Lashley years ago, right? Where he's like, "Look, you scratch my back, let me win it, and then you get the first shot at the title, and then
Yeah.
go back heel and run away."
There you go.
All right, hey man, coming up here in Danbury, Connecticut, April 27th, it is the Hat City Havoc Northeast Wrestling in action. Tickets are already on sale, but they're probably close to being sold out at the Henry Abbott Tech High School in Danbury, Connecticut. I'm going to be there. The HAW show will be there. And also, just found out today, Casey Navarro will also be there. He is a former NEW Live champion. He got like 4 or 5 belts in different independent industry here, and he's going to be there. The question is, who will be his opponent? I have a dream match. Maybe he has a match to score. Really, could he go against BRG or something like that? I don't know, but that is coming up. But our topic also, we're moving on to something bigger and better for Frank. Okay, is that we're picking and choosing which best woman out of whatever we put in here. And on this one, we have Sasha Banks or Mercedes Monet, whatever her name is, Moan or whatever. We
she's
got
a Moan,
Veronica
all right.
Rodriguez in the middle and Casey Lennox, the independent wrestling. Now, all 3 females are lookalikes. And if you follow their Instagram, you follow their Twitter account, it's almost like who's looking better, right? I could look better than Sasha or here and there, blah, blah, blah. So, Frank, this is your favorite. You choose, right? Who's your favorite person out of these 3?
Dude,
Good looking or whatever category you want.
I'm just gonna put it just Sasha Banks, and just for the simple fact that Veronica Rodriguez is cute, but I can only see from the neck up.
Oh, my
Right,
God.
so
Here we go.
and then Casey Lennox looks just like freaking Sasha Banks. So I mean, if anything, Casey Lennox is a knockoff of Sasha Banks. So why not go with the pure breed here and go with Sasha Banks?
Well, Veronica's been around longer than Sasha Banks, but okay.
No, I understand that, but
Yeah,
there's a certain view that I only have of Veronica Rodriguez.
There's the reason. All right. Hector got his glasses on for the first time on the HAW show since almost 5 years, and now he got his glasses.
I've had these on for the last 33 minutes. I can't see.
Yeah, I noticed you can't see very well. I noticed. Let me zoom in for you.
Nah, you don't need to.
All right. Let's move on to, is it Scarlett or Kelly Kelly?
I like Kelly Kelly on this one.
I'm a big fan of Scarlett, but I've seen Scarlett in person along with Karrion Kross when they went to the independent scene. They appeared on Northeast Wrestling. I've never met Kelly Kelly, so I'll stick with Scarlett on this one. Hector, you got a vote or you passing?
I think Kelly Kelly. I think she's more athletically built, more fit looking.
Okay.
More natural, I guess.
All right. Lola or Tiffy? Do we have the Lola Vice or do we have the Tiffy time? Which one you got?
I want that bunt cake.
I want a little more than just that cake.
What is that phrase? What is that catchphrase? You can't have your cake and eat it too?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I
disagree with that terminology though, or that phrase. I disagree with that. I can have my cake and eat it. That's why it's dessert, right?
Right, exactly. With a whole
who came up with that?
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
So are we saying that this one's a tie? We could eat both cakes?
Well, whether it's cake, cupcake, or any type of cake, I don't know, man. But let's move on here. How about that? Liv Morgan or Jesse Jane?
Liv Morgan.
Who's Jesse Jane?
You
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
Jesse Jane?
Oh,
No,
So
I know.
Jesse
Jesse
Jane is
Jane,
a hell
with
of a
all due
superstar.
respect, my condolences to Jesse Jane and the family, friends, and all the fans and stuff. But she passed away with a drug overdose a couple of weeks ago. She is a famous porn star, but she also appeared in a lot of movies in the backup roles. Um, but the reason why that's there is because their faces they all look
Oh,
alike.
well, the
You
bottom
know,
picture, yeah, they look alike.
right. And again, depending if they have makeup, no makeup, and stuff like that, for some reason they all like mirror, but I stick with Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I would stick with Liv Morgan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, last one. AEW Mariah May and WWE Tiffany Stratton both came up almost simultaneously. Now, Mariah May has been all over the independent wrestling, always taking pictures. And if you follow them on Instagram, they blow you up with all kinds of pictures here. So which one would you pick? Mariah May or Tiffany Stratton?
I'm gonna take Tiffany all the way on this one.
You like Tiffy time. Okay.
I like Tiffy time.
I'm worried about you, Frank. It's, it's the way you say it, man. Just the way you say it.
Tiffy. Hey,
No,
Tiffy
no,
time's
don't say
always
no
good
more.
time.
Don't say no more. Hold on. Move away. All right. Frank. I mean Hector, go ahead. Good Lord.
I would say Tiffany. I mean, she's a young lady that's coming up in the business right now, and she's got the look, she's got the athleticism. She's got things going on. I honestly I can't say too much about Mariah May because I don't watch AEW to know who she is. I don't follow her on social media or anything, so I
There's
don't know.
not much to know on that one, really, to be honest with you. If you was to choose someone, it'll be Tiffany Stratton being, and she is the future star.
I,
Even Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, like these guys already put her on top already. And I can't wait. You could see her probably by December of this year. She might win a championship title. That's
I'm
how
just
good she is.
looking at that back door to make sure there's no googly eyes or spooky eyes staring into that door.
There you
You're
go.
looking through the
Yeah.
back door.
Mm.
Oh my God, I don't got no hair to pull out, Frank. Jesus.
All right. Updated matches so far right now. We got Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the main event for the Undisputed World Championship. We also have the Women's Championship, Io Sky and Bailey. We also have Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. And Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the Heavyweight Championship. But we're still waiting for that one opponent after the gauntlet match. Who will take on Gunther for the Intercontinental title? And now it is time for the March Madness Fantasy Tournament. Okay. Now, again, if you tune into the hhwshow.com on their fantasy, you will see the whole list of all the participants for the men's. We will come up after this with the women's World Cup. But for now, it's your vote, and this is where you make your comments. I did get some comments already on social media, on Twitter, of who they like the most, and that will count to our decision making right now. But first and foremost, we'll start off with our first match, and is the Undertaker's region right here. Number one, The Undertaker versus John Morrison. Who's your winner in this match?
Taker.
Okay.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker. I say The Undertaker. The social media said 90% The Undertaker. All right. Moving on to our next match, number 8 and number 9. Rob Van Dam versus JBL. Frank says RVD.
RVD, baby.
Okay.
I thought he was going to use the other initials, JBL.
So who you got?
I got RVD. I think just with him being extreme how he is. I mean, his high flying moves. I think RVD will be able to pull out this win with a frog splash.
You know what? A lot of people picked RVD, but I picked JBL. Um, but hey, it's an 8 and 9. It could have gone either way. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool. Rob Van Dam. I gotta write this down so I don't mess it up. We got Undertaker. We have RVD. And let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Daniel Bryan versus Scott Hall.
Okay, well, Frank ponders on that.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote Tiffany? What the? Anyway, look, Daniel Bryan is outsized in this match, but he's got the technical skills in this match. Razor Ramon, if that's what we're calling him here, Scott Hall.
It's a Reginald or Scott Hall. It's the same thing.
I mean, Scott Hall got the power, but I mean, unless you can get him in the Razor's Edge, I think Daniel Bryan keeps his ground game and uses his technical submission moves, and I think he makes him tap out. I think he makes Scott Hall tap out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think Daniel Bryan is gonna beat Scott Hall with a bunch of yes kicks.
That's another thing you got to worry about.
Just beat him down with those kicks.
Yeah, but
Scott Hall's tall. Scott Hall's strong. He's big. Unless Scott Hall gets some help from Kevin Nash.
No, he don't need no help from Kevin Nash because even when he was
I'm not saying he needs help. I'm not saying he needs help.
He was one of the first ones with Shawn Michaels with the ladders match in WrestleMania.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not saying he needs help, but we're talking about Daniel Bryan. We're talking about
we're talking about WrestleMania 30, yes movement that he could beat anybody. He beat down Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H all in one night.
Yeah, but in fairness, too, even though I did pick Daniel Bryan, but you got to also think that Daniel Bryan got kicked by Sheamus in a couple of seconds and lost that belt.
Yes. Because that's what you get for kissing your girl in the corner and not pay attention to what was coming.
Exactly.
All right, well, fine. Freak it. You know what, Hector? You made me change my mind. Scott Hall it is.
So who wins?
I'm saying Daniel Bryan.
And he says Scott Hall.
Right.
And then I say Scott Hall.
Hey, yo.
What?
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Scott Hall. All right. It advances to the next round. All right. Now let's move on to Chris Jericho and the Iron Sheik.
I'm going to tell you this. I like the Iron Sheik. He gets Chris Jericho in that camel clutch, and that's it. Chris Jericho's not coming out of
that. Okay.
And that's the thing, because Iron Sheik is really strong. I mean, I think Jericho would have been able to hit the code breaker on him, but trying to get the walls of Jericho on him versus the camel clutch, I think that would have been a battle of submissions right there. But I think at the end of the day, the Sheik will use his brute strength and get this guy into the camel clutch and make him.
So social media said the Iron Sheik as well. So, all right, we got the Iron Sheik coming up. There we go. Good job. Fair enough. All right, Kurt Angle versus Smash from the Demolition.
Oh, please.
I got Kurt Angle.
No, I got Angle.
Kurt Angle.
All right, we're moving on. We're gonna pass that. Interesting. Very interesting. Hulk Hogan versus Mark Henry. And now we're not talking about sexy chocolate. We're not talking about him being a bodyguard. We're talking about Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, versus the Hulkamania himself.
Dude, we're talking about the man that body slammed Andre the Giant in WrestleMania. Who you think he can body slam Mark Henry? Think he can't beat Mark Henry with the power of Hulkamania behind him? I got Hogan on this.
Yeah, I'm going with the Hulkamania on this one. You talking about the one that say your prayers, eating your vitamins. He's got the American flag waving all over the place, the yellow and gold. Yeah. It's
Okay.
not going to be an easy task because you're talking about Mark Henry with the Hall of Pain here, but he gets one of those funky little leg drops. It's over with.
The thing is that 60% of the fans on social media had chosen Mark Henry. So disappointed on the social media part, but I'm with you because I had picked Hulk Hogan because I thought about Andre the Giant, how he stands on WrestleMania 3. But let's make no mistake that Mark Henry could punish Hulk Hogan
Oh yeah,
just as bad as what the Ultimate Warrior did when he beat Hulk Hogan. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. All right, Christian and CM Punk.
Hmm.
Good overall match, I think. But I think at the end of it, someone's going to get hit with the GTS, and it's night for Christian.
I agree with you 100%.
I agree.
All
CM Punk
right,
on that one.
CM Punk. And then Frank's favorite. Talk about Andre the Giant. We have Rey Mysterio versus Andre the Giant.
You
And
know,
if
I
you're gonna
told you
give me a
last week,
lecture that Rey Mysterio is gonna win, Frank.
dude. No, I told you last week that I'm calling this match a draw. All right, I told you. I listen. Rey Mysterio to me is one of the best small guys that have ever been in the WWE. And Andre the Giant to me is one of the best big guys that have been in the WWE. And he really helped build the WWE to what it is today with his feuds against Hulk Hogan, going back and forth between heel and face. I mean, I don't have a winner. This match is a double count out. Draw.
All right, Hector, put some reality into this.
Look, Rey Mysterio, as great as he is as a sound wrestler, there's no size, there's no muscle, there's nothing that Ray is going to be able to do besides use a foreign object to take Andre the Giant down. You know what I'm saying? If he tries to attack the knee, try to attack an ankle or something, I don't know how long that's going to last before Andre puts that giant paw around his face.
Dude, his hand is probably between his belly button and his face.
Exactly. And we've
I
seen
think he
Rey
can.
Mysterio lose to the likes of Mark Henry. We've seen him lose to Kane. We've seen him lose to Great Khali. Okay. This is not going to be any different. It's just going to be even worse. He won't even be able to put him in a position for the 619, honestly. There's no way. Not with Andre the Giant. He did it to The Undertaker, but we're talking about size difference. Andre was too big to get down. You know, especially talking about Andre in his prime, you could forget about it. Ray's just done with.
All right, I got Andre the Giant on myself, so that leaves that bracket. Let's move on to the next bracket, the Triple H bracket, and we're gonna fast forward on this one real quick. Triple H or Eddie Guerrero? Frank,
Triple H.
Hector.
Upset City, Eddie Guerrero.
The funny part is that social media said Eddie Guerrero would definitely win 75-25 on this one. And I had a toss him on this, and I was waiting to make my vote with social media, and I was surprised. But definitely, this is a number one upset all time. Besides Rey Mysterio, number two. But we got our first number one going down in the first round. Eddie Guerrero surpasses Triple H. Moving on to the Ultimate Warrior versus Matt Hardy.
Delete,
Ultimate Warrior.
delete, delete Matt Hardy. Get him out of there.
All right, Ultimate Warrior. How about Kevin Owens versus Jamie Noble?
Kevin Owens, man, that's a joke.
Yeah, well, back in the day, Jamie Noble was someone. But yeah, that picture, he was the security guard for Seth Rollins. But yeah, absolutely, Kevin Owens moves on. You got The Rock versus Axe from the Demolition.
The Rock.
The Rock. I mean, this match would last a little longer than the last match, but The Rock wins this one.
All right, now we have Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley.
Great fight. Great fight.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna say Bobby Lashley's gonna move on.
I was gonna say Bobby Lashley too. Look, I mean, nothing from Sheamus. I mean, take nothing from Sheamus. He's a brawler. He's a fighter. and Bobby Lashley knows that. But I think when it comes to brute strength and he gets hit with that spear, it's over with. As long as he stays away from that bro kick.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Hold
mean,
on.
you can't go
Well,
wrong.
head to head, Bobby Lashley is ahead of Sheamus. So that's why I'm surprised, y'all. Wait a minute. Let me get this correct. You saying that Sheamus is going to win?
No, Bobby will win this match.
Okay. All right. I got Bobby on this one.
Yeah, and Frank does too.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
All right. I agree. Head to head, Bobby Lashley has defeated Sheamus. Okay. All right. Roman Reigns versus Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh my God. What's gonna happen to Roman Reigns? Get one little elbow that to the head, and that's about it. He ain't gonna
Get
get
the
put in.
figure
Didn't
four.
Greg the
Wasn't he
Hammer
famous for
have
the
a
figure
figure
four?
four also?
Yeah, he ain't gonna put him
All
in the
right, so
figure
Roman
four.
Reigns goes on the figure four.
Man, you gonna hit him with that Superman punch and knock that Goldilocks out of his hair.
All right, big shout out to Nasser
I agree.
Ahmed. He says, I sense that The Rock will betray Roman Reigns. I believe so too, my friend. But that's my prediction on that one. Glad that you stand by my side on that. I think that there's a delay on the show catching up over there. But yeah, moving on here on this chart here. Roman Reigns, of course, he got to move forward on this one. All right, I like this one. Shane McMahon versus Brutus Beefcake.
I like Beefcake on this, man. I like Brutus on this one.
I agree with you. I like Brutus.
Here comes the money, 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 money. Come on, Shane O'Mac got them ways, man. He's got them funny ways of winning matches. He may not be able to outpower you, but he can use his
Look, the
intelligence.
only way he won his matches is like he's fighting against the Miz. Okay. But did you see him fight anybody else victorious? Nah, no way. He can still fly off the cage and land on a table. That's what he's famous for. I got Brutus on this one. Let's move on to the last part of this. Bret Hart versus Mick Foley.
The excellence of execution.
But now, are we talking about Mick Foley or
Mick Foley has
Drew
a
Love?
disorder of pretending to be three different people at the same time.
Or are we talking about Cactus Jack? And if you're talking about Cactus Jack, I will say he'll beat Bret Hart.
I disagree.
No, but Mick Foley's not the best there is. Cactus Jack wasn't the best there was, and Dude Love was never the best there ever was. So forget it.
All right, so we got
I
Bret
love
Hart.
it how you did that.
That was awesome.
Bret Hart wins this match. All right, let's move on to the next one. John Cena versus Cesaro.
John Cena.
Cena gets the Cesaro swing, but still wins the match. Cena wins.
All right, Earthquake versus Chris Benoit. I got Earthquake on this one.
What?
Yeah, man, I got Earthquake.
No. He's too sloppy, man. Benoit get that arm bar. It's over with. Crossface crippler. He's going to make that man tap out.
Earthquake's way too big for that.
But he can drop Earthquake. You can't drop Andre, but you can drop Earthquake.
He would not do that. He was too small.
Do that. It's what?
Well, it doesn't matter. You lose. Ovi and I still pick Quake, so it doesn't matter.
I'm still.
No, I mean, I can still change my vote.
Because
you still change my mind.
This matchup is way different than the Rey Mysterio Andre the Giant matchup. Okay, Rey Mysterio could not match up 5-6 versus a 7-4. This is almost an even matchup. Benoit is much more physical element, better than Rey Mysterio, and he's got the technical moves. He can get you in a leg lock. He can get you in an arm bar. Rey Mysterio wasn't that type of wrestler. Okay, and
so watch this, because Chris Benoit is a better build than Rey Mysterio, right? But I had picked Earthquake because I would love to see that matchup moving forward against John Cena and see a replica of Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant with Cena versus Earthquake. That would have been fascinating to see. But I'm gonna change my pick. I got Chris Benoit on this one. Yes. All right. We good. I know Frank is like, whatever, dude. Hey, all right, Owen Hart versus Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
As much as I like Owen Hart, I think Braun Strowman wins this match.
So social media says unanimously Braun Strowman winning this match.
Wow.
All right, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Animal. I love this match. I think they both have the same attitude,
Yeah.
They do.
but Stone Cold Steve Austin has his match.
Yeah. Steve Austin
Yes.
wins.
All right, The Miz versus Jim Neidhart.
Jim Neidhart.
Hell no.
The-
Hell no.
What are you
I
talking
got
about,
The
man?
Miz. I got The Miz because he's gonna cheat his way to victory on this one, man.
The Miz always finds a way. He finds a sneaky way of winning matches, and he knows he can't outpower the Anvil. He knows that, and so he has that football tackle. He lets him get hit in the shoulders by the ring post, rolls him up, hit him with his finishing move. I think the Miz wins this match.
I think now we're moving on to the main event of round one. And the most talked about that's currently right now, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes.
I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes just because he's actually beat Seth Rollins one-on-one twice.
Nope, not twice.
3
Are you
times.
sure? Or three times.
Three, baby. Or
All
was
right,
it four?
You know what? That just adds more.
Wasn't
Three
it
times.
4?
I don't remember the 4th one.
Yeah, 4 times, wasn't it?
I physically seen 3 times, but I don't know about the 4th one.
Mm.
I mean, either way.
Either way, Seth Rollins has not defeated Cody Rhodes at all.
Right.
Which
so
begs to differ of why he's so close to Cody, because he really want Cody to choose him. We didn't say that part at the beginning of the show, but now we can say it now.
That's another twist. He could turn his back on Cody Rhodes.
But Cody does win this one, though.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and move forward with the $1 Million Man versus Bautista.
Come on, man. You can't. DiBiase's not going to be able to buy him the way out of this one.
That's what I said.
No. No, sir. Give me.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. All right. Kane versus Nikolai Lokov. This is 2 and 15.
Kane.
Good matchup, but I think at the end, Kane.
So a lot of people pick Kane on this one. All right. Let's go on to our final bracket. Edge versus Sami Zayn.
Man, I'm sorry, but man, Edge wins this one, man. Sammy gives it all he'll give his heart out, but no.
I think this match could actually slow down Edge for the next round. But absolutely, I got Edge on this one because if you look at the next one here, I mean, Davey Boy Smith versus Drew McIntyre.
Power versus power, yeah. But I'm giving the leverage to
Davey Boy Smith.
Ooh.
I'm giving the leverage to McIntyre.
Ooh.
I'm giving it to Davey Boy.
Well, this was a hard one. Social media has Drew McIntyre winning, and that was a close one too, a close vote. But they got Drew beating Davey Boy Smith, and I'm gonna go with Drew on that one. Absolutely. But at first I had Davey Boy Smith. I believe if he was at his prime, I think he will take down Drew McIntyre. Remember when it took Drew McIntyre a while to get the body that he's in. He wasn't like that when he first came to the WWE. You know what I mean? So, but Davey Boy Smith has always been that guy. I mean, he was with the British Bulldogs, remember?
Exactly.
So, which resembled Drew McIntyre because he is a former tag team champion. So, but all right, moving on. Big Boss Man versus Ricky Steamboat.
I like Steamboat in this one.
So do I.
Say less. Say less. Say less. Yes. This is my favorite. Brock Lesnar versus Animal from the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom. But I got Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Animal is going Suplex City to the ASPCA.
I mean,
Hawk, not Animal Hawk.
Well,
I don't think Hawk is going to go through Suplex City 100%.
But you know what? This is not an easy task for Brock Lesnar. I'm going to tell you that.
No.
And who knows if his partner would show up, be like, after he loses, and then they really mess up Brock Lesnar.
That's if Animal can recover from the stunners he got from Stone Cold in the first round.
Oh man, damn, that is deadly. I tell you. Big Show versus Yokozuna.
Where is this match at? Because what ring is going to hold these two guys?
I think this is a actual street fight outside the arena.
Oh, he's
They want
never.
to reserve the rest of the ring for the rest of the tournament.
I'm I'm just going to cut to the chase. I'm going to give it to Yokozuna. I think he's going to put his weight around. He don't have the height advantage, the leverage, but I think he got the weight.
He has the weight advantage on this.
I think that could give him the advantage.
But I also
But
think that in this case, the bigger you are, the harder you're gonna fall. In this case, Yokozuna being the heavy guy, the heavy set guy, is gonna fall hard on his ass by that punch by the freaking Big Show.
I
then the
can,
Big Show has more stamina than Yokozuna.
yeah, but we've seen Big Show lose to Mark Henry. We've seen him lose to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, but we
Small-
never. But we saw Yokozuna win against Bret Hart and then immediately losing to Hulk Hogan.
yeah.
And Big Show's been a world champion multiple times.
Oh well, Yokozuna's been a champion, so multiple times. He's even took out the Undertaker at one point.
All right, I
Like,
give you Yokozuna on that one. I give it to you. All right. Randy Savage versus Kofi Kingston.
they're very colorful.
Savage.
I know, right? What a coincidence on that one. I got Randy Savage.
Maybe Savage come out with his own cereal, Savage O's.
Savage O's. I mean, he does got the Slim Jim.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah. And Kofi did commercials with the Slim Jim, trying to act like Randy. So give it to Randy Savage.
Give it to Savage.
I didn't hear nothing from Frank, so he's kind of silent over
I
there.
said Savage.
Oh, my bad. You're a savage yourself, buddy. All right. AJ Styles versus Jake the Snake Roberts.
Tricky. I say AJ, as long as Damian doesn't get involved in this match.
And do you think Damien would not get involved in this match? Of course he will.
AJ Styles
All
not
right.
stepping in that ring.
Listen, do you know the amount of wrestlers that were actually scared of snakes? That Jake the Snake threw snakes on them, or a whole
Yeah,
bunch
no,
of them?
believe me. And this is not like some made up stuff, you know.
No. Okay, Jake the Snake takes this off of AJ. He just shows Damien around, and you know what? AJ says, "You know what? It's okay. Have the victory. I'm out."
You know what? Reminds me of Bray Wyatt when he came out as the second time, right? With his old face and the mouth is open inside that lantern, right?
Yes.
That is scary looking, right? But that is probably the most fakest, scary thing in the WWE. But then you got Jake Roberts who actually had a real snake. You know what I mean? Like, you took chances just to throw this snake. Imagine that snake was biting people. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you have the snake in the bag. That snake always wanted to come out, right? So, anyhow, yeah, I guess we put AJ Styles on this one. Yeah, AJ Styles. But it would be nice to have Jake Roberts in there. All right, the last one, Randy Orton versus Rick Martel.
Randy Orton.
Randy.
Boy, Randy Orton will RKO him so hard that Rick Martel will not only, dude,
He'll lose the
I don't
model.
even know that whole whatever gear he has on goes away. So
I thought
he
maybe
might go back to Strike Force.
I thought he'll RKO him into that sweater he got around his neck. Jesus.
All right. That wraps up the first round. Stay tuned at the end of the week for round 2. The results will be on the YouTube channel, of HHW Show. So if you haven't subscribed to us, please do follow us on YouTube, Facebook, or you can go to OV_HHW Show. And all that information is on the hhwshow.com. We're going ahead and closing it out with the Women's WrestleMania Fantasy Cup Challenge. And we'll start with the results here. On the Group A was Natalia and Nikki Bella winning the knockout stage. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair on Group B. In Group C, Becky Lynch and Bayley. Group D was Shayna Baszler and Sasha Banks. Group E, China and Trish Stratus. Group F, Beth Phoenix and Alexa Bliss. Group G was Lita and Liv Morgan. And lastly, Nia Jax and Bianca Belair finished on top. Now we're at the round of 16, starting with our first match, Natalia versus Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte.
Yeah, I take Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Natalia has way too much Botox.
Oh my God. Are you all right? Moving on. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks.
Oof.
I take Becky. I like Sasha, but I think Becky wins this match.
I'm gonna take Becky because Sasha Banks likes to quit.
Oh, I like how you went ahead and gave some backup to your statement, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I got Becky Lynch on this one. All right. With China versus Alexa Bliss.
China, man.
Yeah,
China's a powerhouse.
China.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. How about Lita versus Bianca Belair?
Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca.
She just whips her with that hair, man.
Just like her intro and her theme song, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Bella.
Bye, Nikki.
Yeah, give me Rhea, the double R.
Man, you guys are making this real easy, man. No arguments there. How about Shayna Baszler and Bayley?
I'm gonna say Bayley, man.
Yeah, I hate you, Frank. I was gonna say Bayley too.
Now, I will pick Bayley just for what? One thing. Lately, Shayna Baszler, when she's been not valued as much as she should be. And I agree with Becky in one of her interviews because she wrote it in her book. She wanted Shayna Baszler to win the title when the time during COVID hit, right? WrestleMania. And it made sense for her to win because she was undefeated, right? And she was tearing up everything. And eventually they didn't want that. They wanted Becky to hold on to the title. That and like I said, you got to get the book to understand everything that came about. But then the reality is that Bayley could beat Becky Lynch, and she's done that before, especially in NXT. And then you got Shayna Baszler in this matchup. Yeah, you're definitely right. I'll take Bayley. But all right, she moves on. And then we also have Beth Phoenix versus Trish Stratus. I know, well, Hector, you pick Beth, don't you?
Yeah, I got the Glamazon.
Oh, of course you do. Of course.
I was.
Man, this one's tough. This one's tough because the Glamazon is the Glamazon.
Yeah, that's what Hector said. Yeah.
Trish just has the whole package. I think Trish Stratus is gonna beat the Glamazon here.
I'm a firm believer that the women's division each time got better and better. And yeah, Trish Stratus got the looks. She was badass in her prime, but Beth Phoenix took it to another level, and I just can't back that up. So, Beth Phoenix, I got it. And then lastly, Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. Now, I didn't do that by purpose. It just fell into it right there. So, if you look at that match from Monday Night Raw, who had the advantage?
I think Nia Jax is going to take Liv Morgan, man. Nia Jax is a lot bigger, a lot more powerful, than Liv Morgan. I mean, Liv Morgan is hot and she has the great looks, but that's going to take her so far.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Frank. Go ahead.
Yeah. Jax is just on a whole different aggression right now, so I give it this match.
All right. So stay tuned to our HHW show. We're gonna update the results And stay tuned for this weekend as we advance to the next round. So come on Tuesday, we'll be talking about already the Sweet 16 of the men's, and we're going to come close to talking about the quarterfinals and the semifinals of the ladies. So there's so much going on in our fantasy tournament. What do you think? Make your comments below, share your thoughts. Who should win this tournament? And see if we could support you in those kind of ways. So I'm liking this, man. And the woman sounds to be a little easy, but this quarterfinals is not going to be as easy as what you think. So stay tuned to that. Hector, Frank, I'm enjoying this, man.
This is
Before
awesome.
we leave, one word, phrase, whatever it is, give me one takeaway. Let's go. Frank, go ahead. Lead it off.
It's time. It's time for change, right? And change what? Change belts. Let's see these new streaks come about.
Okay.
It's time.
All right. Fair enough. Go ahead, Hector.
I think about Rhea Ripley. You know, I mean, when you're on top like Mommy is, you know, you don't interfere into someone else's territory. You don't without getting permission. I don't care who you are or what status you step in at your level where you're at. You don't step on somebody else's toes and try to take their spotlight away from them, as Io Sky has. I don't care about damage control. I'm talking about Io Sky. You know, respect. Have that respect. You know, stay in your lane. You know, before you get bowled down the lane.
Fair enough. Thanks, Hector. Thank you. Look, family, man. They always say stick with family, back your family up, and everything else. And for the most part, I'm down with that. I really am. But when you're asked to do something and you don't agree, well, I gotta respect Hector and Frank's decisions and their beliefs when it comes to family. I say you better make that risk assessment and think very carefully what is your next step. For example, I mentioned on the show Jey Uso what he did to get away from the bloodline to handle his business. But ever since he's trying to get away, they seem to follow him everywhere he goes, such as Jimmy. So if there's anything that I learned from this is that when you have a problem, you have to solve it. Because if you don't solve it and you're trying to run away from it, it's going to keep following you until the time comes. So what you going to do? Thank you for watching the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. Thank you, Hector. Thank you, Frank, for coming on. And for all the viewers, I think we had a record amount of people watching our show, and I truly appreciate the support you did for our show. And please tune in live next week as we're going to continue talking about the road to WrestleMania and come close and finishing up our men's and women's tournaments. So thank you very much. Take care. We got to love some wrestling, huh? See you next week.